Yo, check this out.
Previously heard. Good Hope FM. Let's go.
Coming up next, Warrior Woman with Leanne Williams.
I get to meet the most amazing people, and I have to say I am friends with some really incredible women that are doing amazing things and continue to do amazing things, and I watch their lives and I'm just in awe and so inspired. Today I'm speaking to one of my friends who is a television, very, very shortly, because her CV is very, very long, a TV personality turned brand marketing maven. She is a lot of things, but most importantly, she is one incredible woman. Zahirah Marty on Good Hope FM. Hello, my love. So good to have you on the show. Finally.
Good morning.
Hey.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. I know you live a very busy life. You do. You are jetting from one country to the next, doing the most. I got to meet you for the very first time when you were on our TV screens and you were doing a show called Top Travel?
Yeah.
Top Travel, which is kind of like Top Billing. It was a sister show.
That's right.
And I remember watching you for the first time and I'm like, this woman is glorious. She's absolutely glorious. And that was, I think, one of the very first presenter searches that you'd won. And everything kind of started off from there.
That's right. And when I look back at that,
Yeah.
it seems like a million
A
years
lifetime ago.
And I look at that person, I was like, who is that?
Who is
That's
that?
Not me.
She's just everything. She really is everything. And I think the reason why we connect is that we're both KZN born and bred.
100%.
Hey,
That's
hailing
right.
from Durban, currently living in Dubai. Where's life taken you? Because, of course, you started off on that show and then you decided to start a whole brand new life in Dubai. Take us through that journey.
The show actually happened by mistake. I was
Really?
I was having coffee
Beautiful
with a
mistakes.
friend, and she said to me, "Why don't you try out?" It was the first ever presenter search.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why don't you try out, Z?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. It's not for me."
Yeah.
But I also want to do it, but it's not for me. So yeah, she actually filled out my entry form.
So that actually does happen. When people say
Yeah.
someone entered me into this thing,
No.
they're not just saying it.
True story.
Wow.
100% true
Okay.
story. So she entered the entry form, and then next thing you know, you're invited to trial, and you do your audition, and you expect to hear nothing further,
Yeah.
which is where I left that room that day,
Yeah.
going, "Oh, that was fun. Like, tick it off, write it down somewhere, tell my
Yeah.
kids about it one day."
It's on my CV now.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then you get a call going, "Oh, by the way, you're down to the final 12.
Wow.
So went back in, did a whole shoot in Durban, and for a Durban, it's like, oh, making it big. I'm in front of a camera. And then, so presented the first couple of shows for Top Travel's first season,
Yeah.
did a few guest presenter gigs with Top Billing, did a
Yes.
bit more with SABC along the way. And then I was like, oh, I don't know. And then, it's that journey where you go, probably not the right time for what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So went back to what some people called a real job, which, where you go to a desk and you do things and you have a computer.
I
and,
hear you.
And then, just kind of worked away for a couple more years and then
Yeah.
decided, you know what, I want to try something different. So I
Yeah.
packed 2 suitcases,
Wow.
2 weeks of accommodation in Dubai. And I was like, if it doesn't work out, I'll come back.
Wow.
And my parents were like, I hope it doesn't work out, so you come back. So I went over for 2 weeks. On day 10, got an interview. Day 12, got an offer.
Sure.
And never looked back.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, when people think of Dubai, they think we open our taps and gold
Yeah.
pours out of them, right?
Yeah.
And my journey is probably the complete opposite. Like,
Wow.
my table for the first 2 months that I lived there
Yeah.
was my microwave Panasonic box upside down.
Oh, my goodness.
I had a mattress on the floor.
Wow.
I just had a microwave and a fridge and nothing else. And I ate 2-minute noodles a lot. I can tell you there's a number of ways you can make 2-minute noodles more exciting.
That's amazing. When I look at that taking that calculated risk, leaving everything that you know behind, I think so many people are so afraid of what am I going to get when I get to the other side? What's it going to be like? And now, fast forward all these years later, you live this amazing life. You are married to Andrew. You have a beautiful son named Noah, and you're an entrepreneur. You live in fast-paced Dubai. You help brands build their presence. You just did an influencer conference, I think last week or the week before that, and you're hosting an international travel show that is just beat out Gordon Ramsay show. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. So didn't
Doing
expect
the
it.
things.
Didn't expect it. It was actually one of our African episodes that won. So that's
Wow.
pretty exciting because I'm always championing
Yeah.
African content.
Yeah.
Obviously South African, but Africa as a whole, because we've got so much to offer.
It's so rich.
So much to offer. And it always breaks my heart when people say, oh, where do you recommend for going on a holiday? And then they list all these destinations off our continent.
Yeah.
There is so much on our continent.
Yeah.
There is just, and value for money and hospitality and the warmness and the food, and there's so much in Africa. So
Listen,
a lot
you're
of our
selling it so well. You're very good at what you do.
I
want to
just
go
in
to
your
Africa.
arm the other day, wasn't I? There's just so much to show off on this continent and our country as well. And that's kind of what I spend a lot of my time doing. My friends joke and say I'm a walking billboard for South Africa, and I proudly own that title
definitely.
because there's just so much to see and do here.
How do you find balance in between having all of these different hats that you wear? I know that it's always, women probably think like, oh, do you ask a man that? But men don't bear children. That's a whole job in itself.
Oh, that's a party.
Men are not having to, nurture and raise these babies to the level that we do because we're moms. It's who we are. And I know that you travel a lot. How do you find balance and still keep the essence of who Zahirah is without, having to kind of like submit and leave your dreams by the wayside just to, keep it all going?
Balance is a funny thing when you're a woman.
Yeah.
There's an expectation of what that actually means. Like, is it an equilibrium between being away and being at home? Or is it spending enough time? For me, it's just making sure everyone's happy.
Yeah.
I do travel on and off, and I was very clear about that. I can travel for X amount of time, but then I need to be off for X amount of time.
Yeah.
And when I'm off, I'm very present. We're doing after school activities and school pickups. Awesome. But my son is also very used to seeing both parents working and both parents moving, because my husband is a veterinarian, but he also does a lot of travel photography. Yeah. So he's used to seeing this transient stage where he is coming along. Sometimes he's not. Dad's away sometimes. Mum's away sometimes. But he's quite comfortable with it. And it's quite normal to him because it's always been the case. And it's really just finding time to create those moments and taking him around the world with us, because you see the world a very different way through a 5-year-old's eyes.
Yeah. You've managed to build such an incredible brand for yourself over the last few years. And I think you're such an inspiration to men, women, all of those that follow you, all of those that watch what you do on the screens. What would your kind of motivation or advice be for anyone who's looking at your life, seeing where you started and saying, wow, I want to follow in Zahirah's footsteps?
I think the first thing is nothing comes easily and nothing comes quickly.
Yeah.
And they're two very different things to take into consideration. So the easy road might get you there faster. And I think social media propagates for a fast acquisition of followers or engagement. Yeah. But it needs to be a slow and steady pace, because life's a marathon and you're not wanting to get to the end of it. You're wanting to enjoy the process of it.
True story.
And that's important. So it's very much about enjoying every single day. Yeah. Embracing every single challenge, because you do take something out of everything. It's not always been an easy road, and that's the other downside of social media. I love it, but it does give a very polished perception of what life is, and it does hide all the challenges, doesn't it? Right?
Yeah.
And everyone says to me, "Oh, you live the best life," and I'm like, "Yes, I'm grateful for the life I have, and very thankful for the opportunities I get. But you also don't see the challenges, because that's my choice. Yeah. I choose to keep that as a very filtered, happy, positive space. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that I don't have challenges, or that I don't have down days, or I don't have difficulties. And, life's tough.
Life is very tough.
Life is really tough. No matter where in the world you live, raising a child to be a decent human
is tough.
Everyone's like, "Oh, when's number 2 coming along?" And I'm like, I'm just trying to cope with number 1.
Yeah, I ask that all the time. Whenever I see you, I'm like, and baby girl, when's she coming?
No, I mean, look, always grateful for whatever comes your way, but I'm very much about the slow and steady, and very realistic about the job that I have and what my limitations are.
Talking about the job that you have, what's in store for Zahirah over the next few months?
Exciting things. Yeah. We did win the Taste Award,
Woo!
Which is in LA next month.
Congratulations.
So, it's been doing the show for 8-9 months and then get a call from my director going, you're not going to believe this. You're nominated. I was like, great. Like that's great in itself. Super grateful for that association. There's amazing names, listed in those awards. And then I get a call a few weeks later going, oh, by the way, you've won. And I was like, oh, that's incredible. So we won Best International, which is phenomenal. Good. And so excited that it's an African destination. That's one. It was our Namibia episode. Unfortunately, our Cape Town, Pretoria, Johannesburg ones weren't out at the closing.
We got to let the other kids win as well. Hey, we can't keep taking everything.
We got to be generous like that. Yeah. But it's still great. It's a neighbor. It's African continent. So off to LA over Oscar weekend.
Hello.
Yeah.
Living.
So got an Oscar gala event and our Taste Award final ceremony to attend. And then we'll kind of see, it's very much... Nothing is pre-planned, as you know, in television. I'd like to think we all get scheduled 6 months in advance with plans of where we're going to go, but it doesn't work that way. So it's just a case of where to next and when you get the next call to go on which location and for how long. We generally don't go in for more than 48 hours at a time. So we do a destination, get all our content, get out, and move on. So we'll see. I'm just excited to go to LA and dress up and wearing South African designer, hopefully. So... yeah,
listen,
we can.
All of the designers are going to be lining up to be dressing you. You are doing us so proud. You're flying the flag so high, not only for South Africa, but for the African continent as well. And we're very proud of you, Zahirah. So continue to do you. And we cannot wait to have you back on the show. And thank you so much for giving us the immense honor of being our warrior woman for today. So well deserved.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great fun.
Woo! Zahirah Marty, everybody!
Feel it. For more, tune in to goodhopefm.co.za.
It's all you need.